back when the web, HTTP, was invented, there was a competing protocol called Gopher. Now, Gopher was similar to HTTP. It was a bit simpler, but not. When they both first started, they were basically the same in terms of simplicity. Over time, HTTP became bigger and bigger, and HTML became more and more featureful. But Gopher was kind of ignored. And because of this, Gopher is still a simple thing, right? It didn't really gain all these modules and all these new things and newfangled nonsense. And so it is today kind of held up as this paragon of simplicity and in design and such. And the problem with it is that it's in a lot of ways too simple. It doesn't really do everything that you want to do in terms of browsing. You have to have links on their own separate line. Most documents can't even have links within them. You have to make them a special kind of document to even have links. And those kinds of documents are really not designed to be documents. They're designed to be a map for links to other places. So like you have your document and then you have a directory that points into other places. It's clunky and there's a lot of small problems with it. Gemini is kind of a modern take on this concept. It's so simple that it doesn't support like underlines, bold text, italics, all that's bloat. It has links. It has 3 levels of headings. It can support quotes, and that's about it. You can link to images, but you can't have inline images. You can have links, but they have to be on their own separate line. So there are a few things that aren't great about it, but all in all, it's better than Gopher is in terms of a content creator perspective, but it's not perfect by all means. Everyone agrees that it's not perfect, but no one can agree on what would make it perfect. So it's just staying the way it is. The one problem with the protocol, which is a feature, not a bug, is that it must use TLS for encrypting transmissions, which means making servers for it is kind of difficult, and clients as well. I tried my hand at making a server for it recently in these past few days, but I think I don't know how it works in Plan 9 to do TLS. I thought that I would just have to use TLS serve and then pipe the output from that into my application and then pipe my output from my application back in. I thought that would work, but apparently it doesn't. So if someone knows how to use TLS serve to make a Gemini server, that would be great, because the way I'm doing it now is I have a Linux server doing Gemini, and I don't like it. I don't like it for a number of reasons, but yeah, so I now have a Gemini thing. It has almost all of the content that was on my previous website. And not quite, but there are differences. There are some differences. There are new additions, and I'm going through and fixing a lot of formatting errors, just because. So yeah, that's what Muffet does currently. Muffet has more aspirations than that, but the initial thing was to input indental files and be able to create HTML files, Gemini stuff, and Gopher stuff. Gopher is kind of off the table for now because I don't like it. when I was doing the research for how to create Gopher files, it kind of disgusted me. So I learned to listen to those feelings, and if it's like, this is gross, I don't want to deal with that, then I don't. I just don't. There's this person in an English class that I was teaching back in the Crimea. This was like 2011 or something, and she had gotten word that I know a little bit of Japanese, and so I was just like, oh yeah, I know, like, a few phrases. I went through a list of them. One of the ones that I said was daijoubu. Now, to me, it's just like, I just said that. I just said it, right? And then there's this other person who was not really paying attention to the conversation. They were doing something else, but they just heard me say daijoubu. And when they heard me say that, they got a shocked look on their face, and they were like, "What did you just say?" And I said, "Daijoubu." And he's like, "It sounded like you said daijoubu." Now, if you know Russian, that means something very different than daijoubu. Gemini is cool. It's simple to like. If it wasn't for TLS, it would be very simple to implement. I mean, I did it in a day. Everything other than the TLS stuff. So one type of gem capsule. God, I hate that name. It is fitting for most of these things. I would call my thing a nebula. It's a gem nebula or Gemini nebula. But most of them are capsules, and in the ugliest sense, they are like a single landing page that just says, "Welcome to my cool Gemini page," maybe with like an email and like "Hello world." A distressing number of Gemini pages are nothing but the name of the domain and "Hello world." It's awful. A lot of them are just about Gemini. Like, the only content they have is like, I like Gemini because it's not the web, and the web is terrible for all these reasons. And it's like, yeah, we all know we're on Gemini. We're on Gemini. We know. So those pages suck. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad people are making them getting onto Gemini, at least in that way. But literally write about literally anything else, like literally anything else. And then the other kind that is the vast majority of them is just technology blogs. there are a few, and I mean few, that are not that. Maybe the issue here is mine, because I was going through, like, there's an aggregator that does like a search engine on Gemini, and I was just like literally going through every domain it knew about and just seeing what was there, which is not a great way to find content, but it is like a way, I guess. So am I saying that my nebula is the best on Gemini? I think I am saying that. Now, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's great, but it is kind of the best that I've found. Like, out of all the ones I found, mine is the best. And that's not a great, like, when my thing is the best thing on a protocol, your protocol's probably in trouble. Would be my take on it. The amount of content about Gemini on Gemini is really a big problem. It really is. It's like people have already come to Gemini. Like, I really don't understand why you would do that. The technology ones, they get a pass. Like, the issue though is that because Gemini has such a high bar to entry, most people there are going to be people who know about technology. So of course you're going to have people who know about technology who are the ones who are making this stuff, so it's going to be about technology. It's just kind of like preaching to the choir in the most literal sense kind of a thing, because I don't know, write about other things. It could be that's the case. Like, a lot of people who are into technology are introverted because, you know, the kind of hobby you develop when you're introverted is one where you aren't around other people, and technology is the kind of thing you can spend a lot of time with not around other people. So, you know, in a room, in a basement, in a place looking at a screen, sitting behind a desk for hours a day, you know, technology, the computers and shit. That is the modern thing to do if you're that kind of person. So, like, it makes sense that something that's super opinionated about the web would be attractive to people who have completely isolated themselves and are doing that. But, like, I don't know. I need to make a page about making soap. You know, there needs to be more anime blogs. There needs to be more anime blogs on there. Anime's good. More video game stuff. There's not very much video game stuff, like, surprisingly. You know, there's plenty of insular, being alone in your room hobbies that are just not represented well on Gemini. You know, so people need to make more Gemini stuff. I understand not doing it because it does have a barrier to entry. The only reason I've done it is because I had the ocean core stuff that I've been doing, and Muffet, you know, parses all that, builds it into a big tree, and then I'm able to write a single function that grabs all the information from that tree and builds an entire, like, outputs the whole tree. So I don't have to like do anything special to get Gemini anymore, right? Like in the future, if I do updates to my website, as I'm doing updates to the site, it'll just come out as Gemini. So it's great. But it did take 2 weeks of near constant effort to get that. So I don't know. Is it worth it? Probably not what I've done in that case. Like, a lot of people have problems with it, with maintaining both. And I'm not saying you should. You probably shouldn't. But Gemini is good for a lot of things, and better than the web. Like, you see, so I wouldn't say it's better than the web. Like, you can use the web in the same way that you used, like, that Gemini is being used. You don't have to have CSS. You don't have to, like, use JavaScript, right? Like, you can build static web pages that don't do anything dumb on the web. And people use the web. People already have web browsers. They can browse the web, and indexers will find stuff. So if you want to be found by people, then the web is a good place to be found by people. But I don't know. Like, Gemini is cool. It has this cool feeling about it, right? Like, Lagrange on the iPhone works well. There's probably one on Android. I don't know. It's nice on the phone, a Gemini. Like, reading generally, because among things that a vertical like aspect ratio is good for, text is one of those things. Not very many things are good vertically, but text is. That's why books are vertical, and that's why this screen here is vertical. It's because text does well vertically. So if you're editing text, you want vertical screen space. And so on your phone, scroll, vertical is good. Yeah. I think I said all the things. I think I complained about all the things I wanted to complain about, and also I mentioned all the news I wanted to mention. Yeah. I think I said all the things. I think I complained about all the things I wanted to complain about, and also I mentioned. So I've been using 9front for Plan 9, 9front, whatever you want to fucking call it, for a while now. I've been using it for a while now, and I wanted to make an upgrade. I wanted to, stop using simple setup and start using like more customized shit, and learn how the install process works. I have been here. I have been to the NDB setup so many goddamn times. I've been here so many goddamn times. I've read the scripts. I've been reading the scripts. I've been trying to get my worm on that external hard drive with my cache on the internal SSD. I've been trying to get this fucking thing to work, and I've been reading the man pages. I've been reading the fucking man pages. I got notes in all my man pages. I keep flipping back and forth. I have to type in the fucking address. Like, I'm sure that if I knew better, if I understood better, I wouldn't have to do this every single time. That I would be able to just like reconfigure stuff without having to reboot everything and start all over from scratch every single fucking time. Yeah, I was first trying to get the advanced namespace tools working. It's a different distribution from 9 front. Well, it's like a fork of 9 front, you could say. And I was trying to do that, but like there's errors in the fucking install script. There's like actual errors in it. So I was like reading through it and like trying to figure out how it works, and it was helpful, I guess. In a way, it was helpful. I learned more because of the errors in the install script, and now I'm starting to wonder if there's errors in this install script too, on purpose, so that like only the worthy can pass, kind of a situation. I'm not sure that's the case, because there's too many real problems for us to like insinuate into things like extra problems just for the fucking lulz, I guess. And what I was trying to do was not like the default setup. I was trying to set it up so that I have you know, fossil and venti going, and having the my brain is fried. The archive on the external drive, and have the cache on the SSD and shit, and I gave up. Fucking gave up on that shit. You know, I'm like, you know, if I'll figure out how to add an extra drive later or something. I don't know. So in reality, I don't want this to be my file server. In reality, I don't want it to be my file server, but it's gonna end up being my file server, because I don't have a good way of doing it otherwise. Like, in the ideal case, the authentication server is separate from the file server, in the ideal case. And I got like 2 little Raspberry Pis. One is a 3, and the other one is a 0W or something. But I don't know how to get Wi-Fi working on those, and the 0W's only got Wi-Fi. It doesn't have Ethernet, and ideally one of those would be authentication, but I don't really want it to be authentication. It'd be nice if it is, because then it's separate. But I wanted to put the file server on it, which would kind of be slow, but you know, whatever. So this is gonna end up being my file server. I need to find some way of getting that fucking 8 terabyte hard drive and attached to CWFS without it being a fucking nightmare. I could just partition it as another other, I think. I think you can also do multiple worms. I'm not positive about that. I have to read more. You know, I got so much fucking shit to read, and it's like I'm here again. I'm gonna type in Mugi for the 80th time today, maybe. I'm gonna type in US Pacific for the 80th time. we're gonna say boot setup, and we're just gonna hit enter. You know, we're just gonna hit enter. This at one point was just like fucked because I had partitioned my hard drive totally wrong. It should already have a master boot record. It should already have it, but since I don't fucking know that it does, because I've done so much shit to it. You know, I'm using the installer right now, but it's because I've done so much shit. You know, and the installer, it like checks to see if you've done stuff outside of the installer. And so if you've done stuff but you've done it wrong, if you've done stuff but you've done it wrong, it doesn't like undo that shit so you can do it again. It's just like, oh, you did it, because what it's checking is there. Oh, it's a nightmare. It really is kind of a nightmare. Please, for the love of God, boot. That's all I'm asking, is this time to be the last time, and it will boot, and it'll say Mugi in the corner, and I won't have any fucking problems. And it won't have any fucking problems. That's all I want. That's all I want for today, is that it'll boot. You know, and there was a time I got it to boot at least once before. Please boot. But it wasn't doing everything I wanted it to do, so I started over. There was an issue, so I started over. Please boot. All right, we're getting there. Please don't have. Oh my god, it's fucking doing it. It's fucking doing it. It's doing the thing. Now, I don't know what the fuck all those errors are. Oh my god, it worked. Holy fucking shit. We're in plan 9 now. We're in 9 front, guys. We made it. We fucking made it. Oh my god, we did it. We did the thing. My fucking god. It's what? It's only 9:30. At 9:45. It's not even that late. It's not even that late, but I've been up for fucking since midnight. This is not 9 in the morning. This is 9 in the evening. And that was after sleeping for 3 hours. So I'm fucking tired. But we got Cat Clock running, and it says Mugi over there in the corner, and ostensibly, if we check our fucking hard drive, ostensibly it's got all of the partitions on it. Yeah, it does. Oh, it's beautiful. We did it. Now to do everything else, but not today. Work. Do the thing. Oh, it'll be so cool if it does the thing. You know how cool it'll be if it does the thing? It'll mean progress will have been made. Now, I don't know how to do multiple monitors, but it's supposed to do it automatically. Damn it. See, this is what I was worried about. When I tried to just boot off of when I tried to boot just off of USB, there was no drivers for the Ethernet. Like the Ethernet wasn't working. So Ethernet works to get the PixieBoot file, but then it no longer works to connect to the that's really obnoxious. So of course it doesn't work, there's no Ethernet. This is a very mysterious error. So what I'm doing is not taking an insignificant amount of memory. I will admit to that. It's taken a pretty big chunk, right? But like, in order for I think in order for it to like actually be running out of memory, I would have to be like doing something like triple allocating things and like dropping pointers and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I'm not doing any of that. So what I did is like I wanted to find out. So if I run it right now, it's like make sure it's made. Let's run it. Doing this with the wrong hand is difficult. Okay, so we run it, it crashes. Okay, very expectable for a crashing program. So what I wanted to do, what I ended up doing is it's this one actually. We're rewriting it using a different way of doing it. Anyway, so I put in this. All this is doing, right? All this is doing is creating a pointer that I know the address of, right? I do this one. Okay, and this is basically the beginning of my memory, malloc memory. And then we come over here, and I want to print out. I do one here after this, right? This thing allocates a huge tree. So okay, I want to see how big that tree is. It's all malloced. Now we want to print it out. We want to print out the addresses and the difference between them, just to see how much memory we're using, right? So we do that, and we weren't getting here. You know, we weren't getting to these. It was crashing in the middle of this first walk here. So whatever, we'll do it anyway. All this is doing is allocating three integers on the stack, and then printing out their values essentially. Right, so it's like it's insane. It's insane. So that's how we make it. We got the new thing. We got some warnings. Who gives a shit? And then we run it again. It's 6.out. God damn it. 6, whatever. We'll type it. 6. Great. Fine. We'll run it this way. Where is it at? There. Copy, paste. trying to run. It's shy. Okay, whatever. We ran it that way. It is. I swear to God, it's the same program. There's some plausible deniability going on. So it did the thing that I was like wanting it to do in the first place. So this is the first thing. This the middle thing. We're using 100,000 bytes. It's not that much, actually. You know, it's not that much when you consider how much shit I have in there. And then this is from the middle to the end. So this is after allocating all of this stuff, basically. That's using about 9,000 bytes. So, like, it's using a lot more memory than just like the strings, right? Like the strings themselves would be much less, but I'm storing them all in an AVL tree, and malloc itself allocates more memory than it should for reasons. But what I don't understand, what I don't get is why would this one, why would allocating more memory cause it not to overflow? It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. What is going on? Why am I not able to type shit? I don't know. Is my keyboard in a bad state? No. I think this is in a bad state. We're gonna close it and start it again. No. Is this whole Rio in a bad state? I can't type anything. Trap, general protection violation. It's because I was typing bad things. I think we're gonna have to completely reboot the system now. Great. You know, something kind of funny. About all these videos about Plan 9. You got two types. One is like very straightforward, direct language about how to do shit in Plan 9, like setting it up, and some more in-depth ones, which are really nice. You know, these are pretty new, those ones, like in the past 2 years or so. Then you got tours. You got these tours of Plan 9, and most of the tours are basically just Acme tours. Now, Acme is complicated and different than any other text editor I really know about. But I don't know. I don't know if an Acme tour really demonstrates what's interesting about Plan 9. And when you're stuck in text mode, you only get PED, so that's cool. So many things are like constantly broken. I guess it helps learn things. But as an operating system that's designed to be like tinkered, like not experimental, like research. It's supposed to be a platform for researching other things and concepts. So it's like, it probably shouldn't be hard to configure, right? It probably shouldn't be. And honestly, once you know what you're doing, it's not that complicated. But learning how it works in the first place, is I don't really like using the man pages on it. You can get them in a nice, prettier format, but then you only have so many spaces. And right now I've got three different books open with stuff. Those new lines at the end of the files, those matter, apparently. Apparently it matters. It was like trying to draw Termin and it wasn't working, and I was like, why is it not working? And it was because it wasn't in CPU mode. And it wasn't in CPU mode because I didn't have a new line on the file. Then like my NVRAM wasn't working because it expects it to find it in like SDC0, and I don't have an SDC0 because I'm using NVMe as my main disk. So then I was like, well, it's a local bang than the path. Apparently that's wrong too. There's no local bang on it. I'm not sure if this is consistent across multiple other versions, and when it gets updated, I'm not sure it'll be consistent either. It's kind of a nightmare. But it's like an interesting nightmare, you know? It's like one of those nightmares that makes you think.